Hey guys, and welcome back to the show. I am your host, Megan Hardy, and I'm the founder of Fitness Uncharted, which is my fitness and nutrition coaching company that I created for women who want to build muscle, lose body fat, improve your metabolism, and find complete food freedom. And today we're going to be talking about your circle of influence, your friends, your homies. Are your friends making you fit or are they making you fat? Okay. We're going to be talking about the five people secret and why your circle of influence could be ruining your fitness goals or potentially helping them. But for a lot of people, it's more so sabotaging. So, who you hang out with might be actually like the single biggest factor in your fitness results. This is a conversation I have often with my clients, and something actually, even on consultations, I'll usually ask them, hey, who do you have supporting you on your fitness journey? Because it's something I'm genuinely curious to know. Like, who is in your circle? Who are your people? What about your spouse or your partner? Like, what is the support system like? Naturally, like as a coach, we are going to be a part of that positive influence for you and that community and that, positive influence on your fitness efforts. But I want to know who else is, competing for that attention from you, right? Or who else are you giving that influence and attention to in your circles? And it really is a big factor on your fitness results. And it's not just about your gym buddies, right? Your inner circle influences your habits, your mindset, and even your motivation more than you realize. So, in this episode, we're going to break down the five people rule and why your environment can be your biggest shortcut or a very sneaky sabotage. You'll learn how to audit your circle, how to curate it for success, and how to become the kind of woman who raises the bar for everyone around her because that's what we want to be, right? Let's think about it not just like who's influencing us, but when our friends, let's say your friend does an audit of their own friends, right? So they're auditing you too and saying, okay, what kind of influence is Megan on me? What I would hope is that my friends would go, she's a positive influence. She helps me be a better person. She helps me, improve my fitness. She helps me, spiritually, all these different things, right, that matter to me. I would hope someone would say about me, right? So not only who is influencing us, but we want to become the kind of women who raise the bar for everyone around us. Or I think we do. If you're listening to this podcast and follow this show, that's probably who you are. So what if I told you, your squat strength, your daily energy, and even your motivation to meal prep could all be predicted by the five people you spend the most time with? Would you believe me? It's true. I don't know if you believe me or not, but it is true. And if your circle is full of skip day friends, right? Or let's say wine over workout habits, let's skip the workout, hit the wine, skip the workout, do XYZ, right? It might be holding you back without you even realizing it. I was actually just having a conversation with a current client who's been in our program for a minute, but she still is struggling to find, she's more introverted, and to find real deep friendships with people that are positive influences for her because all of her close friendships are people who are not practicing a healthy lifestyle. They are, people who are drinking a lot, who are very overweight and not trying to do anything about it, right? Like things that she doesn't want to move more in that direction, but that's what her friends are doing and that's a real legitimate challenge. And, some of her habits that we've been talking through I could very well predict them what we're going to struggle with based off of knowing the five people closest to her, how they spend most of their time, right? Because you're likely to follow suit with that. So today we're going to dive into probably one of the most overlooked pieces of fitness success, your environment. And your environment is not just, your kitchen or your gym, right? But it's your people. It's your homies, that is your environment too. And one of the biggest contributors to your success. So you've probably heard the phrase, you are the average of the five people that you hang out with most. Well, when it comes to your health, those five people can either make consistency really feel effortless, or it can make you feel like you're pushing a boulder uphill every day, right? It really can make or break you. And I see it all the time. So, and I'm talking about how, your friends and their habits, their mindset, and even their energy will literally rub off on you. And how you curate your circle so your goals aren't just something that you're chasing, they're something that you're actually living. That's what we're going to talk about in this episode. Because, and I want to, preface this to say, this is not about ditching friends or being judgmental. That is not the tone of this episode. I'm not saying get rid of all your friends if they're not a positive influence in every single way. I'm sure if again, if my friends were auditing their own lives and they were talking about me, they'd be like, yeah, Megan's really helpful with this, this, and this. And nah, maybe not as much on this, and this. Like, there's no one's perfect. So we're not looking for perfect people or perfect friends. We're not trying to be judgmental of anyone else or their journey, but we do have to audit our own lives sometimes to improve them. So it's about being strategic with your time and surrounding yourself with the kind of women who inspire you to level up. So let's get into it, shall we? So first and foremost, let's talk about why your circle matters so much in fitness. So, the Jim Rohn principle. If you don't know who Jim Rohn is, go just Google or YouTube him. He has so many great quotes and takeaways, so many life principles that are awesome. And his last name is Rohn, Jim Rohn. But anyway, he has a quote that says, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." And this applies to fitness, nutrition, mindset, and overall lifestyle, you guys. So, like, you are the average of those 5 people you spend the most time with. So just literally right now, think of who those 5 people are. Think of their habits. Think of what their fitness, what their nutrition, what their mindset and lifestyle is like, and then compare and contrast that to your own. There's probably a lot of similarities with that, right? So even like with fitness, for instance, like if you have friends who are like, oh yeah, let's go hike. Like I love hiking. I love being outdoors. Let's go paddleboarding. What are you probably going to go do more of? You're probably going to be more active, right? If you have friends who are like, hey, like, can we cook, can we hang out, but like do dinner in and cook a meal together? Cause I got macro goals or whatever, right? What are you probably going to do? Yeah, sure. Versus someone who's like, let's go to brunch, lunch, and supper. Let's, get apps and hors d'oeuvres and, drinks at every single one of those meals and let's live it up, right? What are you more likely to do? And then, of course, mindset, right? Mindset is huge, whether it's a positive or negative mindset, that definitely transfers over, and just your overall lifestyle. So, are you someone who, is timely? Are you someone who sleeps in or gets up at a decent hour? Are you someone who prioritizes sleep or not? Are you someone who, really prioritizes like your mental and emotional well-being or not? That's a really big one too. If you're 5 people around you kind of poo-poo on mental, emotional, spiritual health, you probably aren't going to really prioritize that much either. So it's about finding the people who are moving in the direction that you want to go in, right? And there's this thing called the ripple effect of habits. So being around people who train regularly, who eat well, who value health, it makes those behaviors feel normal and not extreme. And I will say that again, being around people who do those things make those behaviors feel normal and not extreme. One reason why I see a lot of people fail when they don't have a supportive community around them and supportive friendships is because they feel like they're the one being extreme when their friends are not living the same type of lifestyle. There is a ripple effect of habits. And so that, for instance, that could be like maybe I order a salad with steak on top, and it's a delicious, yummy salad. But maybe I get that, and I opt for a non-alcoholic beverage at dinner. And I'm around friends who normally are getting the loaded mashed potatoes and everything else, and several drinks, whatever. They are going to probably act like I am being extreme by making maybe a slightly healthier choice versus making it feel normal, right? And they might even make comments like that where it's like, oh, there she goes. Oh, what are you trying to do? Lose weight? Oh, getting a salad, I see, right? And it makes it feel extreme when it's really not an extreme thing at all. If I was with someone else who's living that type of lifestyle too, it'd be like, oh, what kind of dressing did you get on your salad? Oh, that sounds good. I'll get that too, right? Totally different experiences, and it doesn't make you feel like this outcast and extreme. You feel normal because that ripple effect of habits. the people who are doing those things, who are training regularly, eating well, valuing their health, it's going to make you doing those same things feel normal. And that's a really helpful thing. And there's a thing called mirror neurons and behavior modeling. So this is where like your brain literally copies the habits of the people around you, like unconsciously. So I don't know if you've heard of, there was like an experiment done where people got onto an elevator and one person was facing the opposite way, so like facing like the towards the back, away from the door, and slowly but surely, people are kind of like looking around like, why is this person facing a different way? But then slowly it starts to have a trickle effect where everyone starts turning the other way. It's like, oh, I guess we're supposed to be facing this way. I don't know. Like, is the door going to open up on this side, or are we just, I don't know. Why are we facing this way? So there is a ripple effect of habits. And then there's also mirror neurons and behavior modeling, where we literally unconsciously start to copy someone else's behavior. So this can be used for positive influence or for negative influence. And there is a lot of social influence around us. And if you just want to talk about some social proof, when everyone in your environment prioritizes health, you naturally follow suit. So it's no surprise when you have a group of people who are all living a healthy lifestyle. It's like, yeah, duh, because everyone in that environment is prioritizing health, and you're just one of the followers following suit and prioritizing your health too. So it's helpful to have that social influence as well. And then there's also something called emotional contagion. And that's where your energy and enthusiasm and discipline are as contagious as negativity and excuses. So again, think about your circles. And just brings me back to a conversation I was just having with a client. If you're listening to this, you might know who you are, about her friends. And she was saying they're not living the type of lifestyle that I want to move towards, but it's keeping me stuck in my current lifestyle that's similar to theirs and not helping me achieve my fitness goals. And for her, it's the emotional contagion. It's contagious, whether it's their negativity or their excuses. Excuses are super contagious, you guys. How easy is it for your friends to be like, oh, girl, I know it's like you're busy, like don't beat yourself up, right? I'd be like, yeah, girl, I am busy. You know what? You're right. Because we're like, it's like the support sisterhood thing, right? Where we're like, girl, don't be so gracious on yourself. Be so easy on yourself. And there's something to be said for that. Like, do show yourself love. We do have to extend ourselves grace for challenging seasons, right? There is a fine line and a balance with that. But then I think we can fall off into that, like, I just want to support my girlfriend and I don't want her to feel like any kind of judgment or questioning or whatever from me. That's actually just more probably a you thing. It's more comfortable for you to not question her or for you to just let her get by with status quo versus challenging her lovingly to level up, right? Like, I want those friends in my life. I was just having this conversation with two of my girlfriends, and I was like, if I do or say something that is not in line with the person I want to be and that you guys know I want to be, I hope y'all feel confident and comfortable enough to challenge me on that, because I know you would do it lovingly. And I hope I would be able to hear that. And I hope you would be able to trust that I could hear that, right? I might get a little defensive at first, naturally, but I think I would be able to hear that if you come at it from a place of love. So I always try to share, like, give your friends truth with grace, truth with grace and love. It's all about delivery, right? So the other thing with that, so like as contagious as negativity and excuses can be, also on the flip side, energy, enthusiasm, and discipline are also contagious. So that is one thing I've heard from some people close to me, when they're like, oh my gosh, you're so disciplined in the gym. Like, it makes me want to get more disciplined in the gym. And I'm like, all right, we'll do it. I'm like, yeah, I love that. I love that. I make you want to be more disciplined with your workouts or in the gym. That's great. And, I never even have a conversation with them about it. Like, that is one of my rules. I don't bring up with anyone, like, what they're doing with their nutrition or their training, unless if they explicitly ask me for advice, unless I feel like they're going to get injured or hurt, or if they're doing something extremely unsafe and restrictive, like not eating or, doing something harmful looking in the gym or whatever, right? Then I will speak up because I don't want you to actually really hurt yourself. But I try not to overstep. But my energy or enthusiasm or discipline can rub off without even having a conversation around it, right? And same goes for you. And you probably have people you know or have met along the way where you're like, yeah, their energy was totally contagious in a good way, right? So find those people. And research examples show that people who work out in groups also have better adherence and long term results. So, this is something if you can find kind of like your culture, whether it's a gym culture or an online community or your friend group or whatever, do that because having that culture is really helpful. I will say, I don't think this is necessarily true for everyone in the sense of you have to work out in groups. Like, I myself am a total loner in the gym. Like I actually prefer it that way if I'm really trying to get my workout in. But that's because I'm like, I would rather get in, get out, and get on with my life. Like I want to get it done. I don't want to jabber and talk in between sets and all that. Like I'd rather just get it done. Literally, if I work out with someone in my mind, I go, okay, this is not a like, we're not going into this thinking, let's get an awesome workout. We're going into this workout thinking, let's have some good friendship time. Let's pour into this friend and, build our social, health, right? So like I am more of a loner versus some people in my life who shall go nameless, personal in my personal life, as well as some clients I've talked to. They're like, I just really need to work out in groups. I need someone to work out with, or I just don't do it. I think that's a really dangerous place to set yourself up because then that falls back on what happens if your friend doesn't follow through because their life gets crazy or whatever and you are relying on them to show up for your workout. I think you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. So I think there's other ways to work around this, but do try to find those circles of or groups to whether it's working out or whether it's just sharing workouts or like kind of accountability, hiring a coach. Like there are these things that can really help your adherence and your long-term success. But hopefully by the end of this episode, you're going to walk away with ways to curate your environment where you're also not relying on any one person or group in order to stay consistent with your fitness and with your goals. So, first and foremost, kind of some of the takeaways here, the meat and potatoes. First, what you want to do is you want to identify what your current circle looks like. So, audit your top 5. Who do you spend the most time with? In person, online, texting, or DMing? Who do you spend the most time with? Right. So if it were me, it would literally be like Justin, my sister, my mom, and then a couple girlfriends. And all of those people, if I have to audit them, they all prioritize their health similarly to me and to a certain extent, with a few exceptions. So again, I don't have perfect friend groups, perfect circles. There are some who really aren't prioritizing their health like I do. It's not perfect, but a large majority of that 5 prioritizes health in a similar way as me. And one being one of the biggest factors in my life being my husband or my partner, my live-in roommate, right? Like we're very like-minded in our fitness goals. Doesn't mean that he doesn't come home with a bunch of, treats and things that I'm like, why did you do this to us? But we are like-minded and we both, even with Ryder, with our baby, like, it's like, all right, hey, I'm going to get my workout time. You got the baby. Cool. I'll take him next while you get your workout. Right. Like it's just a priority to us. So audit your top 5. Who do you spend the most time with in person, online, texting, or DMing? And then ask yourself, are they lifting you up or are they keeping you stuck? Look for subtle cues like, let's say for instance, like are cheat meals celebrated, but then workouts are brushed off? Like, do you have a friend who's like, yeah, like treat yourself, girl. Yes, eat that cake, eat another piece, eat the whole cake, eat the whole dang pizza if you want to. Yes, girl. Are they celebrating that? Or are they like, yeah, moderation, totally. Let's go celebrate with a piece of cake. Like, but also let's get right back to it on Monday. Let's, balance, right? Or workouts. Are they the person who's like, you don't have to go to the gym, you're on vacation, or just like, no, just sleep, just sleep in, just brush off the workout. It's fine. You're tired, whatever, right? Are those the type of people that your top 5 are? Or is growth encouraged? Or is it discouraged? So it's pretty easy to identify this once you actually look for it. Like literally audit your top five. Who are those people? And then look, is growth encouraged or is it discouraged? If you can say for each of those friends, like, yeah, actually they really do want me to grow in all aspects of life, or at least in these certain areas of life, and even identify what those are, right? Look to see if they are encouraging your growth or discouraging it. And then what you want to do is you want to curate your fitness environment. So you want to seek out the expanders, the people that are going to expand your life in a good way, the people who make you want to level up, not just maintain, right? I can speak from a place of my business circle of influence. There's a lot of entrepreneurs and other business owners who make me want to level the freak up because they are expanders. I'm like, man, y'all are going places and doing things, and you make me want to be that way too, right? So find those people. And then what you also want to do is blend your real life and your online connections. So don't rely just on one or the other. Again, like if you're just relying on your real life friends in person, they're probably not going to show up for the workout sometimes. And then you're just not going to work out because they didn't show up, right? But then also online connections, very different than real life in-person friendships. So blend those two and find, whether that's local gym buddies, if that's walking groups. Walking groups are awesome, by the way. But walking groups, local gym buddies, sports teams, go join a sports team if you're into that type of stuff. And then also do like online fitness communities, challenges, or do group coaching or even one-on-one coaching online. Like for us, we do one-on-one coaching, but we also have a Facebook chat thread for all of our one-on-one clients where they just have that extra community element. It's like, hey, in addition to these other sources of influence that you should be, seeking, here's another one. And in the online space, right? Like you have your coach, and then also like come chat with some other ladies who are trying to walk this walk too, right? Let's share our goals, let's share our wins, let's encourage each other, because it's just another forum to be able to do those things. And then also create default healthy plans with friends. So this is huge. Do things like weekend hikes, or do like workout dates or recipe swaps. So the client I was talking with today, she was saying how her friends are not a good influence really on her. Like all of them practice the same unhealthy lifestyle. And she's like, yeah, so when I'm with them, that's what I do. But my challenge is, hey, instead create some healthy plans with them, and just like make them a default, right? Like where y'all don't even have to think about it anymore. It just kind of becomes a custom. At first it will feel weird or may seem weird because it might be out of the norm. Like if you guys normally always just go to brunch or go party, but you're like, hey, let's do a weekend hike, they might be like, what? Who are you? Who is this? Right? Like, new phone, who this? But eventually you might have one or two at least bite and catch on, and then it becomes a thing, right? And it can just become your default. Maybe you go for your weekend hike and then you go to brunch, whatever, right? Workout dates, like if two birds one stone, we do, most of the women listening to this lead a pretty busy lifestyle. Some, single moms working two jobs, some are just full-time working moms. Some are, whether you're in college, whether you are an entrepreneur, a business owner, like a leader in your industry, you're probably busy, right? So go find a friend to hang out with and also get your workout in if you're into that kind of thing. Like I said, for me, I'd be like, okay, this is a social hour. This is not a workout hour. I'd rather just like put my head down and get my workout done. But if that's something that would help you and you can actually like, hey, let's make this a workout date with each other, or recipe swaps. So again, in the nutrition space, if you just like, hey, let's try to like both find one healthy like meal prep recipe this week and then swap it. And if we live close enough, even maybe do like a freezer meal. So I'm going to make enough of my healthy meal and I'm going to make double it to give you some. And then you make enough of your healthy meal and double it and give me some. So then we have more variety, and it's just fun because we can swap and do this thing together. Right. So create those default healthy plans with friends, and then also limit your exposure to energy drainers or habit sabotagers. What's the word? Sabotagers. people who sabotage you or sabotage your habits. So limit your exposure to those people and to the energy vampires. Okay. You do not need to quote unquote break up with people. Like, please don't go like texting your friends and be like, hey, I can't hang out as much because I listened to Megan's podcast and you are not leading the lifestyle that I want to live. But you don't need to go breaking up. All right. You can't just, it's not like you have to write people off. There's no judgment. You can still hang out with them and see them, but you can also be a positive influence on their life and when you do hang out, and you might want to limit your exposure to some of them depending on where they fall on that scale of energy vampire, right? I have a friend actually myself who she she is a little bit of an energy vampire and I have to like time box our time together a little bit more. And I'm like I love this person and I'm like but I do have to time box it because it's like I for my own just mental health and energy. It's a little bit of a suck, but I also care about this person and I actually do want to see them and hang out with them and have an influence in their life, right? So create boundaries when needed too. That's a healthy way to limit your exposure to energy drainers. And then on to the next is to build your own micro community. So, touching on the online and in the physical in person space, you can join group fitness classes that have a regular schedule. So, that's a really easy way to create a community in a group is like literally go, if you show up regularly to a group fitness class, people start to be like, oh, hey, good to see you again. Saw you last week, whatever, right? And then like start talking to someone, exchange a number, whatever. Like be social. Like I feel like we've stepped so far away from just being human with social media and being on our phones and being so antisocial and awkward. It's like just say hi. Just be a human, like compliment someone. That's the easiest in. And like honestly, I genuinely have done this in the gym where I'm like I see a girl's outfit and I'm like that's so cute. And I think that in my head and I'm like trying to be better about actually saying it to her and be like, "Hey, your shorts are so cute. Where'd you get those?" And it can just open up a little door for a conversation. And then the next time they see you in the gym, you get a little wave, right? And then maybe you guys go grab a coffee after, whatever, right? So, join group classes, create a small accountability group, even if it's 2 to 3 friends for check ins. So, my friends and I have two girlfriends who we do this thing called Waffle Wednesdays. It's really just, any day of the week, but we send voice messages back and forth to each other. And it's just like an accountability group. What we talk about all life things, not just fitness related stuff, but it's just literally three of us, so two other girlfriends. And it's like the best little weekly plug and it's so needed. Also you could host monthly like fitness friend events. So in the fitness space it could be meal prepping together, it could be active outings, or it could be like even a goal setting brunch. So maybe you do still go to brunch with the girls, but it's like, hey, let's talk about like how we can help each other out with these goals, right? Make that not extreme, make that normal. You can normalize some things that at first will feel kind of outlandish. You could be the person to normalize them, right? And then also use challenges. So it could be a strength challenge, a step count, hydration, protein challenge, whatever. Use those as a fun way to stay connected and motivated. So my clients in our group, we will oftentimes do like a weekly mini challenge here and there. So that might be strength related, like maybe we're trying to set new PRs. That could be a step goal challenge. That could be a water challenge, whatever. And it's just another fun way, like very low barrier to entry, very low stress, just like fun way to use a challenge to help us all stay connected and motivate each other, right? And then last but not least, you want to look at the mindset shifts that you need to make to have sustainable success. So this whole conversation is really a mindset conversation, but you want to surround yourself with driven and like-minded women who who are going to help make consistency so much easier than willpower alone. So again, like probably probably I would say in my life two of the most influential people right now like to help me want to stay motivated with my own health and fitness is my husband and my sister. Like just as far as proximity to me, and then as far as someone who has a lot of influence in my life, and both of them are very like minded in those things. And they make me want to do those things more. And so I don't have to rely so much on my willpower, or it doesn't feel like we're like having friction against each other, right? So that's really helpful. And in your environment, it's gonna fight your goals or it's gonna fuel them. And so think of your environment not as your like physical space, but what is your environment as far as your friend circles. And you do have more control than you think. So again, going back to this conversation I was just having with this client who has a not very helpful group of friends, I'm like, I want to give you your power back. I want to give you the reins back in your life because you do have more control than you think you have. Like, if you're saying your friends aren't a good influence on you, go back and listen to all the tips I just gave you on setting some boundaries, on limiting your exposure time, on going and finding other positive influences on your life, contagious energies and contagious personalities that are going to help you move in the right direction and take that control, because you have more control. Your environment doesn't just happen to you unless you let it. So you have to create the environment that you want. And that also means creating the friend community groups and circles that you want to. So you're not just finding a community, you are actually becoming that positive influence for others too when you do that. So for this person, she might feel like, like, that's, I'm introverted, or that's a lot of work or whatever. It's just, it's much more comfortable, right? To stay in status quo and to keep doing what you've always done. But if she is the person who's like, hey, actually, instead of doing, bottomless mimosas, let's go for a hike. Yeah, they might be like, what? Look at her like cross-eyed at first, but she could be the person. Someone has to throw the pebble in the water to create the ripple effect, right? She could be the person to become that positive influence for others. So think that way too. Like, audit your friend circles, but then also think, what if they were auditing their own and you're one of those people they're auditing? What would they have to say about you too? So be that positive influence. So last but not least, I'm going to give you guys a call to action for anyone listening right now. I'm going to wrap this up. So this is your homework. I want you to, step one, I want you to write down your current top 5 friends, or, it's people in your top 5 circle, and reflect on how each person influences your health. Okay. So that's step 1. Step 2, decide one way this week to connect with a fitness minded person or group. So, whether that is, maybe you're hiring a coach, holla, you can go book a call with me in the show notes. We can talk. Maybe you're looking for a coach. Maybe you go join an in-person, a weekly group. Maybe go join a sports team, right? Maybe you just show up more. For instance, again, our VIP clients, we have this group chat thread where we do weekly goals and wins. And a lot of people are active in there, but then a lot of people kind of drop off, or like, just life happens. And it's like not a priority to message in that group all the time, which is understandable. I get it. I'm in my own coaching groups that where I've paid for coaching, and they have these chat forums where I'm like, I just can't even keep up with these messages right now. I get it. I totally get that. But maybe your decision this week to connect with a fitness-minded group or person is actually just to show up more in the current groups that you're in. So like, share your goals, share your wins, right? But that's step 2, is decide one way to connect with someone or a group who is fitness-minded. Step 3 is to be intentional about who you give your time and your energy to, because your results will reflect it. 1,000% hands down, they will reflect it. So please be intentional about who you're giving your time and energy to. Are you sharing with people who are helping you to level up and positively influencing you? Are you sharing your time and energy, and having them be sucked by energy vampires? So be mindful of that. So that is your homework with this week. And I hope this helped you if you are someone who feels like you're struggling with consistency or motivation, or just like maybe you didn't even know why you're struggling, and now you're like, that makes a lot of sense, right? Go share this also if you have someone in your life who you feel like could benefit from hearing this, because it really is one of those unspoken things that has such an impact on our fitness results. And it's always going to be the mindset stuff, you guys. Like, nutrition, workouts, all of that stuff is actually easy when it boils down to it. If we're just like, yeah, macros, hit your macros. Why can't you hit your macros? They're not, it's not that hard. Yes, it is because we're human and because of the mindset element, right? The mindset and mental emotional stuff makes everything challenging. So that definitely applies here. So anyway, I will leave you guys with that. If you would like help in your journey, if you want a fitness community, if you want a coach to come alongside you, then you can book a call in the show notes and we can have a free consultation together and see if one of our programs would be the right fit for you. But otherwise, whether it's my coaching, someone else's, or just a group or whatever, please go seek out some other fitness minded people and actually multiple different forums to help support you on your journey because it is that important. Anyway, I will catch you guys on the next episode.